Hello, hello, hello.
Hey.
Welcome to Conversations of the Soul. I am one of your co-hosts, Dr. Kiki Michelle.
Mr. Carlyle right here, coming to you live at the studio in Atlanta.
Woo woo!
WKMC 92.1.
He had to put that plug in there. Okay.
Yes.
On the radio, Boss Television Network.
That's right. We live.
Yes, we are. We're doing it. We're just grateful to be here.
In the blue state of Georgia. Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna let that deliberate. We're gonna let that marinate a little bit.
The blue state of Georgia.
We in the blue state.
Yes. We know how things are. We are in the
Hey, how are you?
Georgia.
You gotta keep saying that. Okay,
Yes,
so we in the blue state of Georgia.
State
Okay.
of Georgia. Hallelujah.
Okay. Well, welcome. So we've already introduced ourselves. Who do we have with us?
Coach Kendall Anderson.
Woo woo.
Yes, indeed.
So we are here again for another episode of Conversations of the Soul. We've gotten some really great feedback. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
We appreciate you. And today, our topic is about the pitfalls of loyalty.
Watch that hole.
Can
That
you
pitfall.
Can you be overcommitted and loyal, thus causing a pitfall for yourself? Now this is gonna be good.
We're here to coach. What
Yeah,
you think,
what's
Coach?
up?
I was waiting on y'all, but if y'all want me to go first.
Yeah, we always want to go first. You know, we
Well, I appreciate that. Listen, this is an awesome topic. I think we all can fall prey to this to a certain degree. And the reason why I say that, because oftentimes your loyalty first comes from your family, your loved ones. And when you can overcompensate that, I think you can fall into that, what we call that pitfall of being over loyal, especially when you're giving so much and getting so little, if anything, in return. So yes, it is possible to fall in those pitfalls if you're giving way more than what you're getting back in return, especially with family, because I feel loyalty requires patience and commitment to a certain degree, especially when you're dealing with family. That's my take on it.
That's a whole nother show. Like family.
right.
Betrayal of family. Can I
Yes.
trust you? We got the same bloodline. Can I trust you?
It starts
Yeah,
there. I
yeah,
feel it
we've
starts
been-
there.
Well, we've been crossing people out. Family members hating. Sometimes you have to draw the line, draw that pitfall, let them fall in and see what happens, So, you have some family members don't want to do right, that's acting up. Even the young kids, your kids don't want to act right, So you just hey, let them hang themselves like moms used to say. Okay, we'll give you a rope, see how far you're gonna hang yourself. Okay, so those pitfalls are there for you. So that's the trials of life. See what direction you're going. And it's out there. These pitfalls are out there. For sure.
Well, I think that that's a great quality to have, is loyalty. But you can't be so overcommitted to anything or anyone, related, unrelated, business, pleasure, whatever, so much so that you lose yourself, you lose your own morals, your own values, a sense of direction. And, we've got to be so careful. We mentioned family. I want to mention the pitfalls, the dangers of pitfalls and loyalty in some of our religious settings. Sometimes people are, I guess, hoodwinked
Bamboozle. Yeah.
You know, because oh, that's the
Yeah.
person of the cloth, that's the man
Okay.
of the cloth. Oh, and then you end up with, you know, unfortunately, like the Jim Jones situation. You
Right.
know, people were just brainwashed, ended up killing themselves because they were following this leader. So I want to just talk about, you know, what are the pitfalls of loyalty? At a point, when can when should I realize I've crossed the line and trying to be loyal to something or someone?
Wow. Yeah, that's good. That's a good question. For me, I think when you can cross the line when you become too possessive. I think when you try to, I don't know. I just think that when you be too possessive and they're like the first in everything, and you're not even putting yourself, first, let alone God. I think that's dangerous because now they are controlling you without you really even realizing it. You're putting them as a type of, I wouldn't say a type of God, but you're putting them in place of that because you're being too loyal to another human being. You just have to be careful of that.
Absolutely. What do you think, Mr. Carlyle?
In following the word of God, and just believing in in your belief and reading of the word, and then you have man want to rewrite or put things in directions where they think they are a God, and
Hmm.
doing things that can, lead you in the wrong direction, and even what's going on with the offerings, and where the money is being spent. Are you getting a new jet next month? Or are you going to get a new Bentley? Or Maybach? And you look at these things and you wonder, is that what God wants?
Mm.
Even though you're a man of God, you want to be the best. But did you get a call, coach, to be able to ride in that new jet that was just purchased? Or did you get a ride? Uh, were you offered a ride home in that Maybach? I doubt it. So those pitfalls. People are being led differently nowadays. In their givings, in their sacrifices. And but just let you get, or you and your family members get in a position where you are in need of the church, of the pastor or whomever your leader is. You don't hear anything. You may hear from the missionaries, or they say the deacons want to come and pray for you, but you in a situation where you may need some financial assistance, what do you call it?
Benevolent fund.
Benevolent funds. Yeah, what happened to that? You don't even hear those things in church anymore, too much, um, and that's what those offerings are for, to help people that are in need. But there are some pitfalls out there, social. Just in the church. So you have to be careful in all your walks and who you following, what you believe in. Um, God is everywhere. So and if you follow the word of God, it teaches the right from the wrong. And there's no change. So you got to be careful with what you believe in and who you're following.
I agree. And, at a point, I think if a person is afraid to make their own decisions and, I can't even turn left or turn right without getting their input on every little thing, I think that's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It's like at a point we're putting mere flesh on a pedestal. And and to your point, church is a ministry, it's a business, but at the same time, like people even outside the church. I mean, with purchasing tennis shoes and sneakerheads and things of that nature. Sometimes people are giving their last to help fund, of course, their need for an item, but they're also sending somebody else's child to college and, buying somebody else's child their third and fourth house paid off while they themselves are, still on, public assistance, barely making it on the bus. So at a point, I think it's important for us to um, be aware of our connections, be aware that we're not like ignoring red flags, because I think you can overdo good in any scenario. Like you can have good intentions, you can have, you know, all good thoughts towards what you're doing with, not trying to harm anyone, but anything in life you can overdo good. And if you at a point are too loyal and sold out and supportive and just jumping every time somebody tells you to do something, or um, you can actually deplete your own resources. Like you have to really say, well, what am I getting out of this sometimes? You have to really take a look and say, what's in it for me? Like, why am I doing this? Just so I can have my name called. Oh, thank you, Sister Kiki. Oh, Sister Kiki gave us $5. Or am I giving, what am I doing this for? Because what I'm finding is you have a lot of wounded people from the church, businesses, wounded people in life, period. And it actually, that's a wound that really never heals because they get church hurt or
and they remember too.
Yeah, they don't move forward. And every scenario is a remembrance of, well, no, I remember that person. And so we have to be like, it's our responsibility to make sure that we're not being taken advantage of. You can be completely wiped out. People will wipe out your savings, your check-ins. They will jack up your credit on the strength of, I got you. Just, I'm gonna work. Come on. Just, that can be very convincing. And next thing you know, you hung out to dry. So, we have to, at a point, take a step back. Some people think that, oh my God, this is the answer to my prayer. And they run full strength forward ahead. And what are we getting out of it? But
that's right.
Disappointments,
Exactly. Because now I like what you said, because you can run out of not only your resources, but I've been there before. You can run out of your time and you can run out of your own energy. You can get depleted. You know what I mean? And those two things is very important because you got to take time for yourself now to refuel those things. And I like also, to add to what you're saying, I've seen people in their workspace be too loyal to their job, because the truth be told, when that job gets tired of you, they will let you go like that.
Okay.
In a heartbeat. And you're overcompensating, you're working 80, 90 hours or 60 hours a week to make sure that the business is running good, and the money is fine, but you need time to enjoy yourselves. So thank God that they have something called PTO, paid time off, because you need to take the time off again to refresh yourself and get back refueled again so you can do it all over again. But we cannot become a slave to nobody or nothing.
Absolutely.
Especially when you at the job and you're training somebody else knowingly and to just take over your position. And that's, you're so loyal to that job, and you think you got it going on, and you're doing the best work every day, reporting to work every day on time, and you're getting all the pat on the backs, from the employer. It's just hurtful when you see something like that happening, and you have to step aside and say, wow, I'm the one that trained this person. When they first came, they didn't know anything. But because your loyalty to that company, you went all out to train this person, or, and to help that person get ahead, not knowing that you're training them way too much, to get ahead of you. So, and then you left there wondering what happened. Your mouth is open when you see that pink slip coming. It's over with, you know. I mean,
pretty much.
it's
Been
over with.
there. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how long you've been there.
True.
You know, I've seen some people, and I know some people who have been on great jobs. I mean, manufacturers and in the industry, you know, that have 30 years, put in 30 years. They looking for retirement at that time. Then what happens? Same thing. Here come that pink slip. Sorry, buddy, we have to lay you off because of COVID or whatever. And you only have like a couple of years before you retire. Then what?
Sometimes even months or weeks. and see, so let's focus on, you know, being too loyal to the people around us, like your family. Sometimes there is an expectation of, you better do this, or I ain't gotta worry because you know what, he gonna take care of this. You know, but sometimes family can use you up and disappoint you and be laughing all the way to the bank. You know, they'll come up with a sad story every week. I ain't got it. Oh, you know, can you help me out? But they are getting it. They just spending it on something else, and they're giving you, you know, a sob story. So what are the pitfalls with family? Coach, you mentioned that from the jump.
Yeah.
What's your position on that?
Well, I just think that God bless you. God bless you. I just think that they maybe unintentionally sometimes can really pull from you emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. Especially if you're the caretaker or if you're the one that's always there for them and they know that you're there. I just think that they can pull from your heartstrings, you know, because they know that, or dad, or they know that mom is going to be there all the time. So let me just call on them, not only for just money, but, you know, pick me up this, you know, take me here. Could this person come over? Can you cook me this? You know, and you're doing all these things for them to make sure they're happy. But then what about you? When it's time for you, can you pick this up for me? Can you go to the store for me? Can you take this downstairs for me? But yet they're too busy. You know what I mean? Listening with family, kids, you know, all of those things. Now you find yourself overdoing things for everybody else, and you're still left needing some attention yourself. So I'm learning that you have to kind of pull back a little bit and realize everybody must grow up. You know, you be there for them, but you can't be their savior. That's powerful to me. You cannot be someone else's savior. You can't save them. You can be there for them and you can support them, but you can't save them. They need that God within them to help them because they have the same breath that you breathe. It's in them too. You know what I mean? And they got to go ahead and start taking responsibilities and accountability for their own actions as well.
And grow up. They got to grow up,
right.
You know, and like you said, and learn how to accept, you know, because nowadays, you know, people just assume and they want you to give, and then you're not receiving anything in return. Especially these young people, you know, in general, they just want you to just give everything and they look forward to certain things every year, you know, for their birthday, for the holiday. And you're like, well, what are you doing? I mean, show me how you're progressing, you know, in school. Let me see your schoolwork. You know, are you really doing better in school, you know, to get ahead, or are you just being lazy, you know, at school? So, you know, and the kids nowadays, they hung up on the games and all like that, you know, and love to be in there. But some kids just cannot cope with being online, you know, to study, you know, and with them not being able to be in school now, you know, it's hard, you know, and you can see they're frustrated. Like, I don't want to do this. they're not motivated enough, to handle what's going on with the pandemic, not being able to go to school, not being able to be with their teachers, so it's an adjustment now. It's a whole different, ball game when it comes to education, and that's a pitfall within itself,
True.
not being able to learn, and just think if the teachers, what they had to go through to adjust to teach online, they're not really even ready to do that either. So, they had to make an adjustment. That's a pitfall in a way for them, because it's like, well, am I going to be able to handle this? How I'm going to grade this kid, a certain way? You had to make adjustments, to even grade people now, the kids. So it's, it's a challenge, I think 2021 is going to bring about a change this whole year, and it's going to be a difference.
So, regarding our topic, pitfalls of loyalty, I think it's so important for us to understand how you could actually completely wig out when you decide you're not going for what it is somebody's putting out. Like you could have been doing this for the last 10 years, but the moment you say, you know what, I'm not doing it no more. You need me to come pick you up and take you to the store. But if I just ask you if you'll, do one little thing, you never can. And then now I'm going to tell you no. Some people become very vindictive. Some people become very just selfish in their responses. They get upset. They want to give you a guilt trip. And so if you are in a position where you have to stand up for yourself and say no, or not this time, you sometimes you have to be prepared for some backlash. Like if it's a child, if it's an adult, if it's a spouse, if it's a neighbor, whoever it is. But don't let that stop you from standing up for your own self, right? I think sometimes people have the assumption that, well, this is your job, this is what you're supposed to do. But at a point, you have grown-ups taking care of their grown children. Like they can go out and be grown, but certain responsibilities for themselves, they need you to take care of it for them. So we have to understand that if you don't recognize what it means to be used, and when people have an expectation of you're going to do certain things all the time, you can actually, it could almost look like you're making things up. Like they can start running a guilt trip on you. And, oh, well, why would you do that? Oh, but they'll know that they're using you. They'll know that they are endeavoring to just get all the free stuff and that they possibly can from you with the same little innocent responses. So with pitfalls of loyalty, you have to understand that your intuition, your gut, like the presence and spirit of God in you will show you that, take a look, step back, or, look at this a little closer so that you don't overstep your boundary. You don't overdo good. People can't use you. But if you ignore the red flags, really it's just, you don't have anybody to thank or blame but yourself.
Do you guys think religion might have caused a lot of us to not think for ourselves because we were taught so much to serve the Lord in the church? I just feel as though a lot of us been, like you mentioned earlier, Dr. Kiki, about the Jim Jones, you start thinking for yourself. I just think in good intentions, but we just don't think for ourselves to first be loyal to ourselves. We're not taught that. What's your thoughts?
Yes, I agree. And then it it evolves into putting too much trust. Oh, they say they love the Lord. Oh, and I just love the way they hold their ear when they preaching. Oh, they got the word and they so sweet. Oh, pastor wouldn't do that. And they convince themselves that the wolf that's slowly revealing itself is not the wolf because oh no, pastor would never. No, first lady would never. And so we actually go past those roadblocks, and then it's hard to rebound because you fall so far when you realize that, wow, when I had that big job and I could pay $5,000 worth a week in tithes. Oh boy, they was calling me for everything. I was over in this committee and I was getting accolades for that. But when my job changed and things, dried up, they don't even have call me no more. They don't speak, you know. And so it takes people on an emotional trip. And now you got this thing called church hurt. And anybody who say they are affiliated with the church or saved or Christian or they even say they love God, you back all the way up because you haven't healed from that space. And I absolutely do think we are conditioned to a point to just take people at their word. And this is my leader. And I do believe that God assigns us pastors after his own heart. I do. But some of these folks are wolves in sheep's clothing. Okay? There's nothing about what they're doing that edifies God. Who am I to judge? Nobody. But the proof is in the pudding. And then meanwhile, you have innocent people. They're in a quandary. They are like really trying to dissociate from everything that they've been taught growing up because this situation doesn't look like anything we were told was supposed to happen. And some people can really never recover from that place to even want to hear anything else about church or God or deal with anybody on any level.
That's true. That's true.
Speaking of pitfalls and loyalty, um, what do you think about the pitfalls now with the followers of Trump? The ones that have been really loyal to him as a Republican, and there seem to be the pitfalls right now taking place because with the impeachment, you have the left side, the Republicans, and the right side, the Democrats. Now they had to choose whether or not they're going to impeach, Trump because of his actions, that happened on Capitol Hill. And you have those Republicans that are, they stuck just followers of Trump and have been in his corner. Now they had to back up and regroup and vote on impeaching him. Is that being loyal if they go the opposite direction and choose not to impeach him? Or is that being, I would say, being more of a patriot?
Coach K. Because I want to respond. I want to let you respond.
I was going to actually let you respond. You go right ahead. You're right next to
first of all, I knew somebody was going to pull the conversation this way. I appreciate it. I love this conversation.
That's that pitfall.
First of all, let me just say, I do not associate as a Republican, but I do a lot of research. And when there is censorship of what you can say and what you think, because it goes against what someone else believes is okay or safe. If they are censoring one of us, they can eventually censor all of us. Number one. Number two, I don't agree with the Capitol being stormed. However, it wasn't just Trump supporters storming the Capitol. Okay, the media won't even acknowledge some of your underground groups that should be on the terrorist list. Okay, so
They were
those
just being
folks
loyal.
were in it for their own reasons, just like every city that had a major protest in 2020, people will say, oh, that was a peaceful protest. They were standing there minding their business, doing what they needed to do. And towards the end of every protest, this certain group showed up with skateboards, dressed in black, banging out windows, hitting people, causing all this ruckus. It is a very similar group that's been doing that every time there's a protest, because their goal is to jump on the bandwagon of whatever somebody else's issue is, because they want to overthrow the government and they want to make another point as well and blame that group. Like Black Lives Matter and all those protests, whether you was red, yellow, black, or white supporting the protest, everyone looked at you for being out there as the looter, the rioter, even though you weren't looting because this certain group showed up. So it wasn't just Trump protest or Trump supporters out there wreaking havoc. I'm going to just say this. Impeachment, this is the process that they want to take and go through. But I promise you, by the time we get back here in 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, I promise you, we're going to have information that was stolen during that process off of those laptops. Okay? This is why, in my humble opinion, from my research, because if the media is trying to hush you down and shut you down and determine what you can and can't say, people who think like myself, I'm drawn to do my own research and figure out what y'all trying to cover up, or what's the other part of the story, or what's going on. So with that being stated, they're rushing to a judgment. Now, who puts an impeachment together in less than a week? I mean, y'all should have put this stimulus money together in less than a week, but I'm just saying. So y'all rushing to judgment to silence him and his administration because of what was discovered on all those laptops that was stolen from the Capitol. Now, what was on there, I don't know. But I tell you, it's very incriminating from what I understand. So Trump supporter, no Trump supporter, lives were lost. People, whether they showed up in support and was just, a casualty of war and lost their life, or whether they deserved it because they was rushing the officer or whatever, I don't know. Loss of life is something that, I have to tell you, you have my condolences. But at the same time, this ain't over, okay? This is not over. You guys wake up. I'm telling you. And when the cover is snatched off of it, everybody's gonna see why there was such a rush to censor, to paint everything that this administration has done and said as a lie. And I don't support everything that's done and said with the administration. Period. I don't. But I have a mind to want to go back and get all the details in between to figure out, oh, that's what you meant and didn't say. Oh, that's what you were hiding. Oh, okay. So
lock them up. Lock them up. That's all I got to say.
If somebody,
lock up all those people that was loyal, Coach. Those people that was loyal.
Right.
Them fall in the pit.
I think that
Pitfalls.
For the inauguration and everything else, listen, guys, there's no point to be in that area. What you going up there for? You can watch it online unless you got another agenda. To me, honestly, stay home. But what you think, Coach?
Yeah, I stand with you, Dr. Kiki. Doing my own research. I'm not for Democrat or Republic. But like I said, for this administration, I just think that there are some things that the media is covering up. I don't trust what the media is telling us on everything. I think they're covering up the truth in some areas. And I think they're spewing out of a lot of lies that people are believing. But like you, when the dust settles, the truth will eventually come out. I personally feel, because of my research, on January 20th, we may or may not have the new president in office. But that's just my take on it. But
We're gonna have a new administration, but I can't say who it's gonna be right now because
we don't know. That's what I'm saying. We just don't know. And what I'm learning about even social media, and I'm gonna leave that alone for us to kind of think beyond what the media is telling us. I know on Facebook, when you speak the truth, or forget not even just Facebook, anything, when you speak the truth, a lot of people and things want to shut you down. Remember that. When you speak the truth, not everybody wants to hear the truth. So I've learned on social media, when you put certain things on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, all these different places, they are censoring that, something like Dr. Kiki had said, and they will actually cut you off. I've talked to a lot of people when they were speaking the truth on YouTube. Why all these people videos are being shut down? It's a reason why that they're being shut down, because they don't want you to know the truth. So everything Trump is doing, I don't think it's all bad. Again, I'm not Trump. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm just looking at the whole totality of everything. And I'm saying somebody's lying and the truth will eventually come out.
That's right.
And remember, even the word of God says in these last days, even the whole world can be deceived, even the very elect. So playing into the politics, just don't take social media, or they're covering up something. Who owns the media? Who owns NBC? Who owns CNN? Are they for the people? Are they by the people? Or have they been taking over to cover up something? And I'll leave it like that.
Amen.
Preach, Coach. It's like there are people who are going to just be everyday people who don't have an agenda. They're trying to build something for their businesses, their homes, their legacy. And okay, but then you have other people who are trying to say it's too many people on this planet. We need to population control. We need to do this, need to do that, and it's evil. You know, all these missing and murdered people, they're not just walking away. Like people are really, you know, being sex trafficked and being kidnapped for their organs. And I mean, it's just a lot going on right now. But I promise you, the truth is going to come out. And I just want to ask, when the truth come out about everything, will those who didn't believe until this moment, will you finally understand and agree that there must have been something else going on?
Loyalty. All the Trump followers, they expressed their loyalty to Donald Trump. When he told them to go, let's go down to the Capitol. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you at the Capitol to take over our Capitol building. He went to the White House. He didn't go to the Capitol. He went to the White House and sit back.
He went to Texas. He left and went to Texas, okay? But I'm going to just say this.
The whole thing on TV with his family.
It's a reason why.
Huh?
I said there got to be a reason why he went to Texas. There got to be a reason why that we don't know, that they're not saying.
To play golf.
No. I'm telling you.
There's more to it than that.
When it's that Capitol, there was some other people seated amongst that crowd that went in there and they knew exactly where to go and what to get. They have hard evidence
Republican representative was
they have hard evidence of the election being stolen, child sex trafficking,
right?
What is it? Organ harvesting. Like people will sit up and study you and try to connect with you and think what they want to think about you, just so that they can actually stalk you down, kill you, and get your organs and sell them.
So that was the reason why they stormed the Capitol.
We are going to find out.
It was behind the scenes. They already said that it was some representative involved, people who opened the door. If it were Black protesters, if there were Black people, doesn't have to even be Black Lives Matter. If it was Black people in general, that many people heading towards the Capitol, really? And there's no National Guards, there's no big presence of police officers. Even the DC police officers seemed like they were on vacation. You didn't see the presence of those cars. And then for someone to say, "Hey, just let them let's go down here and take over," and then kill Mike Pence. They're shouting and chanting, "Kill the vice president." He's a Republican. He's supposed to be on your side. So what was that all about?
Well,
Well,
It will all be revealed. I think it will all be revealed in time.
Yeah.
Sure. And time may be within, I'm
Yep.
telling you, within the next couple of days.
It's short too.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah. So everybody,
I'm watching.
You need to be. Listen, if anybody want to make a friendly wager, because I don't gamble, but if y'all want to make a friendly wager, let's do it. Okay. But the thing is I've been trying to tell people, make sure that you are stocking up on food, water. These next couple of days, it could definitely be, crucial. We don't know if there's planned strikes and militia going to every city, every capital, and they're telling you don't travel. Don't say, "Oh, I just want to go and see my new president sworn in." You can watch this from home. You can look on your handheld device, okay, your phone, and see what you need to see. But see, the bigger part is, I don't question the loyalty. I question why there can't be both sides fully on display. That's what makes me want to look a little deeper, because you want to just spoon feed us this baby food, but we can never have the steak and potatoes. Why? What's the, I should be able to choose what I want to believe. Like I use this as an example. Just tell an unadulterated fact. Don't have to add nothing to it. And then let people make their own decisions on what they choose to believe. But they want you to be under mind control. They want to control the way you think. They want to tell you what to do. They don't want you to question it. Like with the whole mask thing. Some people are like, "I'm not wearing the mask." Some people are like, "Oh my God, you should, because this happened." And it's just, now if you don't get the vaccine, you might not be able to work. I mean, it's just one thing after the other, where honestly, I do believe the benefits of building your immune system. If you choose to take the vaccine, that's on you. But I don't think certain things should be mandatory. I mean, if I choose not to, you shouldn't tell me I can't come to work tomorrow. And at the same time, I shouldn't be ostracized because I've made this choice. And that's the thing. I don't think it's what they're being asked is why people are so loyal to what seems like rebellion. It's the fact that you're demanding people do certain things when we've always had a choice, as long as you're not breaking the law. So just my point.
And that's what, again, back to what you were saying, Dr. Kiki. Right. But going back to what you were saying, Dr. Kiki, about, the mind manipulation, that's the whole point I feel the media is trying to do, trying to tell us and control us on what and how to think and what to do. And that's why we have to make our own decisions and our own choices for ourselves. So going back to what Trump, one of the things I did like about Trump, when you were talking about the human trafficking and things of that nature, I did see, again, the media don't put this out there. You have to look at other resources, that he was going after people that was doing a lot of the human trafficking. And that's one thing that I did like that he was doing. Again, the media is not putting that out there. There's a lot of negativity surrounding the president that I don't get involved with. Again, I'm not for, I'm not against, but I do like some qualities that he's shown me since being in that presidency thing. But you get, I'm not for or against. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm like you. I'm just doing the research, and I'm for those that want to know the truth, because the truth to me is deeper than the surface, and you have to kind of, go deeper. But not everybody wants to go deeper. They're going to stay on the surface. So therefore, again, like you, Dr. Kiki, I allow people to believe what they want to believe, and versus arguing with them. So going back to what you were talking about before, being loyal in ministry, I want to go take it a little further, not just to the pastor. You said it so well about the church being like a business. A lot of times, and you know this, Dr. Kiki, I grew up at a time where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was all church. Because why? Monday there's prayer and saints meetings, and then you got Bible study, and then you had youth meetings, then you had prayer, you had choir rehearsals, you had all of those things that you were loyal to. So my growing up years as a young man was totally dedicated to church. That's all I knew. You see what I'm saying? But all around me, the world was still going on, and you could be the oddball in school because you're so churched that you don't know what's really hip, what's really going on in society, what's going on in your generation. You kind of miss because you're so loyal to church. And then what happens? What happens after that? So I'm just trying to say is, I just think there needs to be balance when it comes down to loyalty in any organization.
Now that will preach. Yes. Because if we were taught that if you didn't show up and wasn't involved in every week, every night of the week, then check your salvation.
Right.
Then they ain't saved. Wait a minute. We can't be so biblically embracing that we don't even know how to cross the street, or know how to take out the trash, or do day-to-day things that humans have to learn how to do over time. So I think that whole mind control thing, I absolutely have to agree with you. It's any organization, especially in our churches, especially in our religious institutions, and our groups and our connections. And people will very quickly tell you and question your loyalty, or we're not sure that how committed you can be. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to have a life. Like, I'm supposed to, as a wife, be taking care of my home, and in my family before I go and sign up to do anything at the church.
That's right.
But growing up, you knew that church was first. It was no question if you was going to church on Sunday morning, if you was going to go to Sunday school. In my house, I know, and growing up at that time, now these kids nowadays, they have a choice. They could do whatever. I'm gonna have the Zoom in and my class, or whatever. No, nothing else happens on Sunday but church. Everything that happens after which, in the evenings, that was totally different. Times have changed. You see people not even going to church. It's all about the money. It's come as you are. We couldn't. We had to wear a shirt and tie and a coat. Okay, to church. That was in our church bylaws. And different denominations. They have different things. But apostolic churches, Baptist churches, you knew you was gonna come to church with a necktie on, with a tie, a suit on. Nowadays it's just come as you are. Just come to church. Just come. And whether or not they're telling you to come for soul salvation or to save you, or just come to fill up the seats. Now, with the pandemic, there's no churches. You're not even going to church. It's going to be very hard to get people back into church again. And that's something scary. Some churches, gonna be hard to get these churches filled again. I do think it's gonna be a change, and there's a lot of churches out there. So you know the church is hurting right there. These pastors, you know, that with these small congregations, and the lights got to stay on. The mortgages got to be paid. You know.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's going to happen going forward.
But at the same time, you know, everybody, if you were born and took your first breath, even to this day, everybody has some type of pre-existing condition. Okay, yes. Whether you know it, whether you talk about it, whether it's being treated, whether you're on medication for it, whatever, whether you're waiting for healing, everybody on this earth has a pre-existing condition. So knowing the facts regarding how this monster is spread, if you know that you're at higher risk because you have these pre-existing conditions, then you listen. I don't care what that happened. Me personally, I'm not going. I mean, if I can't be on Zoom, if I can't be in some kind of online forum, I'm going to decline for now, because I know what I have to be accountable for myself. A, B, it's not even just about me. It's about people around me. I wouldn't want it on my conscience that I went and did such and such because I just had to go and do because it was dependent on me. Oh, pastor called and they said I had to be there. And then I get, because you got asymptomatic going on. So I go and bring something in the home and get somebody sick and they die. I mean, I think that would be a little too much to live with. So I think that people have to make their own decisions. And if I could get the same edification sitting on my couch, watching a televangelist, my thought is, who are you or anybody else to try to judge my level of where I think I should be? I have to do what works for me, because at the end of the day, I know what my genetic makeup is. I know what my risk factors are, and I have to be willing to own up to it and be able to give an account to our creator one day. But at the same time, we can't try to force people back into these buildings that don't have proper ventilation. They don't have a way to really social distance. There's nobody coming there to clean behind people every 30 minutes. The CDC guideline was you have to clean every 30 minutes for daycares, for businesses. Somebody needs to be in there wiping down, spraying down in between each usage. Is that happening? No, because, there's been a couple times when I said, well, you know what? Come on, let's go out to eat. Ain't nobody doing all of that. They're just going business as usual. So at a point, you do have to put yourself first and say, I'm not, going to put myself in a certain environment that could possibly put me at risk or somebody else at risk. Even if the folks on the deacon board are calling and saying, well, you ain't been to church in 3 months. Where you at? Sir, ma'am, pray for me. I'm taking a safe route right now. Well, we saw you at Walmart. Yep, we had to get a couple things. We social distance. We wore our masks. We were in and out. So we got to stop being so overly committed and loyal to the risk of our own downfall. And I'm not suggesting people shouldn't be loyal and work in a sense of integrity, but you have people who don't know their own boundaries. And you have people who are takers, they don't know boundaries. They're going to just be greedy and just demand everything. They're going to suck the life out of you. And then they're going to stand back and look at you like, they were a great person. Well, we'll be praying for the family, and they move on. So at a point, you have to understand you can be over loyal. You can be over committed. And you have to just stop. I'm not suggesting that you quit cold turkey or it be an abrupt change, but at a point you have to learn how to say no and be okay with saying no. You have to be okay with people getting upset because you're making a decision that supports you and your household, or you and your faith in God, or whatever the case is.
Whether people like it or not, you got to make that choice.
Everybody's grown.
Yeah.
But people paint you into a quandary of, I did this for you, or oh wow, and want to paint you like you know, a wretched sinner because you ain't doing this, that, and the other, because you trying to shelter in place, or you know, you social distancing. You know, that's not how it works. You know, in my humble opinion.
That's right.
So as we move to
I
the
agree.
points of conversations of soul, man, guys, this energy, these conversations are so powerful. You know, I want to sincerely thank the both of you because we all bring a different perspective. We're just speaking from experience, what we heard, what we read, what we feel, what we believe. And I think that's a beautiful thing. You know, we can agree to disagree, we can agree to agree, but you know, we're still brothers and sisters and it's all good. So, in closing, guys, if you would just let people know how they can reach you, follow up, book you.
Yes, for me, I'm again Coach Kendall Anderson, go by Coach Ka. I'm rebranding myself right now, but the best way to get a hold of me is by email at lifecoachkanderson@gmail.com. Again, that's lifecoachkanderson@gmail.com. Or you can leave a message on my voicemail at area code 980 272 8287. Again, that's 980 272 8287. If you want to see my face or follow me on social media, you can connect with me on Facebook at just my name, Kendall with two L's, Anderson, or on Twitter, the same thing. And Instagram is Coach Ka, which is Coach KA_569.
All I want to say is lock them up, lock them up, lock them up. Be ready. Yeah, this is Mr. Carlyle, of course. You can reach me at 470-418-7277. Hit us up. We'll keep you informed with all the events we have coming up for Mr. Carlyle Collection, as well as other events we have coming up with our foundation. We have so many things we have coming up. Food drive coming up. We'll be letting you know about that. Stay in touch with us. You know, you can hit us up at 404-470-7277.
What phone number is that?
Is that right?
No, that ain't my phone number.
You can just it up again. 404-477-7195. You can reach us or the 470 418-7277. And hit us up, let us know what you're thinking, and we'll keep you informed of food drive, fashion shows coming up, and other events that we have scheduled as well.
Awesome. Well, listen, I'm so excited that in addition to several hats that I'm wearing, I'm also a paparazzi consultant, and things have been going well. Please check out our page, Kiki Precious Jewels, Kiki Precious Jewels with a Z on Facebook. You can follow me, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at I am Kiki Michelle. I do still provide counseling and training services, notary services. There's a lot going on. So if I could be a resource to help you in any capacity, please don't hesitate to contact me at 404-477-7195. Our website is www.iamkikimichelle.com. Please listen to our radio station, WKMC 92.1. We're doing very well in the world genre. Yes. And we just thank everybody who's chipped in to be a part of our success in the radio station over the years. So we will be doing some things with the radio show as we move on, but we definitely want to let you know, hey, take us with you, download the app, www.wkmc921.com, okay? And please understand that you're in a place. This conversation today may not have even affected you, but if you ever become in a situation or a scenario where you believe and you feel like you're being taken advantage of, and you're being too loyal and not getting anything back, and you're doing an assessment, pay attention to that. Or if you see someone else who's continuing to be used in this manner, be their strength. You know, have a conversation with them to let them know you owe it to yourself for yourself.
Just have a conversation
Of the soul. Yeah, call us. Give us, give us a call, or you speak with them, because a lot of folks feel like they're doing it alone. You're not. You don't have to go it alone.
You reach out and call us and connect, and follow us. I am Mr. Carlyle on IG. We have a lot of things coming up, and casting even for other movies and the plays coming up. We posted some today on my Instagram. I'm blessed to be able to be doing another movie, and just got casted for another movie. So starting out the year, yes, start out the year with another movie. So
congratulations.
Thank you, and
congratulations.
Thank you.
I love it.
So look forward to to the new movies coming out. Coming to America will be out in March. That's gonna be exciting. Eddie Murphy new movie, and also Genius Aretha, the new Aretha Franklin movie. Well, they have two coming out. So one Genius Aretha is part of that. Also, that'll be coming out in March on National Geographic. So we're very excited about that. The trailers look, outstanding, and looking forward to right now the Hollywood of the South. So, but follow us, and need information about casting and all that like that, just give us a call. And we're right here, Conversation for the Soul.
Y'all stay safe. God bless. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.